Hi, welcome to another episode of the Out of Office Club. I am back. I know that I missed last week and I am very sorry, but I think the days just went by so fast. I kind of lost track of what day it was, and then it was already Tuesday and I had no way of recording. I also had the worst Wi-Fi. So I just thought even if I record now, already late, it's going to be uploaded in 3 days. Um, and sometimes I guess it's good to take a break. I don't know. I'm just giving myself excuses, but I am back, recording this again, just a little bit late, but still goes out on Tuesday, so that's still a win, right? Just say yes. Anyways, today I want to talk about what digital nomad life is really like. I think that is a really interesting topic because I feel like so many people have the wrong idea of what digital nomad life is like. And then when I tell them what I do every day, they're kind of surprised. And I spoke about this before, but this was quite a while ago. And I was back in the Netherlands then. And now I've, of course, been traveling for an extra year almost. So I thought I would do a bit of an updated version. Of course, I think the way that anyone does digital nomad life is different. Also, even for me, it changes. It's different now than it was last year. And that all has to do also a little bit with where you travel, work, and so much more. But I still thought it would be a good topic to do again. So if that sounds interesting, if you've been thinking about digital nomad life, but you actually want to know what it is like and also how I recommend to live it, keep listening. Then first, a little personal update. I am currently in Bangkok. If you follow me on social media, which I really hope you are, then you'll know that I arrived in Bangkok almost a week ago. My last podcast I recorded in Siargao in the Philippines. I highly recommend going to Siargao. By the way, it was really, really lovely. Just very relaxing, with beachy vibes. The weather was a lot of rain, but also a lot of good days. But they do have a lot of really nice cafes to work from. There's nice people. There's surfing. It's very relaxed, which I liked. But I will have to say that for me only works for about 2 weeks, and then I'm out. So after Siargao, I went to El Nido, which is just a really small town on an island, kind of hard to get to as well, but worked out fine. Stayed there for 4 days. And then I did a 3-day boat trip from El Nido to Coron. I think that's one of the most popular boat trips that you can do in the Philippines. And I'm pretty sure if you've done any research in the Philippines, that boat trip has probably come up. And I was a bit worried that it would be too touristy, too busy, a bit hyped up and not really worth it. But honestly, it's one of the most beautiful, fun boat trips I've ever done. Of course, it's all a bit of luck too with who you have on the boat. But I feel like even if you don't speak to anyone on the boat or there's not any nice people, even then it is worth it just because the views are so beautiful. The islands, the water, the snorkeling that we did, it was so beautiful. And I have to say, it wasn't as touristy or busy at all. Like sometimes you get to a spot and there might be one or two other boats, but a boat, from what I've seen, generally only has about 20 people. So it never felt crowded or busy or, sometimes there's boat tours where you get to a destination and they call it Secret Beach and there's 1,000 people on it. This didn't really feel like that. And that's, I think, another reason why I did like it so much. Plus, when you're sailing or going from one place to the next, you have no one around you. You don't really see any other boats, barely any people. You just see the islands and the views, and it was beautiful. You could also do it from Coron to El Nido, by the way. They go both ways. But I absolutely loved it. If you want to know more, then have a look at my social media because I'll be posting a couple videos about that this week. At least that's the plan. And then I stayed in Coron for just one night and immediately the next day flew to Bangkok also because my visa for the Philippines was expiring. I didn't think it was necessary to extend, but a month goes by very fast. Luckily, it was the last day and I didn't have to pay any fee and I was all fine. And now I'm back in Bangkok and it's only been a couple days, but every day's been very busy with just work, socializing, playing a lot of padel. And it's just been really nice. I do quite enjoy being in the city again. I think these remote places in the islands, it's lovely. but I do get bored quickly, I think, and there's at some point just not that much to do. There's only so many times you want to go to the same cafe, at least for me. So yeah, I'm very happy to be in Bangkok. So now let's get into it, because I I've been living as a digital nomad now for 2.5 years. And of course, a question I get often is, what do you do all day? What does your life look like? Or people either think that I don't work a lot, or they think that my life consists of only fun things. Like every day I do touristy things. Or they think it's really lonely. Some people think it's chaotic or boring. I've heard everything. So let me just set the record straight and tell you what it is truly like. I'm going to put this in like a couple different sections. So the first part I wanted to talk about was the loneliness, because that is something that I think many people worry about, that this life is really lonely. And there's a couple things I want to say about that, because first of all, I personally don't think that this lifestyle is lonely. And that is because you can make it as social as you want. There are, regardless of where you go, and of course this is a lot easier in bigger cities like Bangkok, or places where are a lot of other digital nomads or expats. But you can be really, if you want to, you can be really social. It is not that hard to go out and socialize with people if there's a lot of events, if there's meetups, you name it. You just join one and make friends. It's actually quite easy. Not always, but generally I found that quite easy. I get to a place, I like here in Bangkok, I've been back for 5 days. I met one person one friend that I made back in January. I met up with him again, but he's already introduced me to his friends, and just playing padel has allowed me to make a bunch of new friends again. So in that sense, I can't say I'm lonely, and that happens in a lot of places that I go. The more effort you put in, I think the more you get back. So if you don't want to be lonely, you simply just have to go out, socialize a bit. And of course, that's different for everyone. And for some people, they might find that a lot easier than others. But I do feel like there's a possibility for everyone to meet people, to meet their people, to meet friends. You just have to, you do have to put in some effort and do it. But I think it's easy. Usually anyone who travels, any digital nomad, any expat, they want to make friends and they want to meet new people. So people are very open to it. Let's not forget that. So in general, no, I don't think this lifestyle is lonely. That doesn't take away from the fact that I do a lot of things alone. And of course, there's a difference. Just because I'm alone doesn't mean I'm lonely. But yeah, there's a lot of things that I do alone. Like I live alone. Most of my meals I do alone. I go to events on my own. There's tours or trips that I book on my own. I do a lot alone. But I feel like if you're single, I feel like that's not that different than if I would live in one place. If I would not be a digital nomad and have an apartment somewhere, I would still be doing all these things alone. Only now I do them in a different country, in a different city. But I do a lot alone, but I don't often feel lonely. Of course I do sometimes, but I think that's normal. So you have those days where you're like, oh, it would be nice to have someone, or oh, I wish I could, see my friends now, or I miss my family, but that happens everywhere. And to me, those days are not that frequent. They're like very manageable, and I feel like very normal, and they just happen. And then when I do feel lonely, I try and plan something, or say, okay, but tomorrow I've got a nice event planned, and I'm going to see some friends or make some friends, and then it's all fine. And then, of course, another question that people then ask is, oh, but isn't it really kind of lonely and sad that you make so many connections that then leave so soon, or that you only then meet for a short time? And agree. It can be very sad when you meet really cool, nice people and you really bond and you build a friendship, and then after only 2 or 3 months you have to say goodbye. But still, I feel like many of the people I've met, I've made deep connections with. And there's also lots of people I still talk to that I'll probably see again someday. And I'm still really, really glad that I got to meet them, even if it was only for a short time. And I feel like it's this fine balance almost. But would I rather have not met those people and had those experiences and learned from those people in that short time? Or, would have been better if, or is it worth it, basically? And to me, it is worth it. I'd rather have met those people, even if it was temporary, than not have that and not have those experiences. So I also, although it is sad sometimes when you have to say bye to someone, so it was also really nice and it was worth it. And I had, I made great memories with someone or a group of people. And I think that to me is worth it. So the loneliness, it's there and it definitely plays a part in this. And I know some people find it harder to handle than others. It is also not something that ever truly goes away. And sometimes it's just worse. You get in those periods where it's just, you do feel shittier, you do feel more lonely, and then it is harder because you are far away from home. But on the other hand, don't forget that's also the nice part about being a digital nomad. If you truly feel lonely and you truly just miss someone or miss family, you can go to them, you can go to that place. If I really do feel shitty for a long time and I want to see my family, I can go home. It's not like I have to keep traveling or have to be abroad. I can just go home. So I don't know. Maybe some people have this idea that the digital nomad life means I have to travel all the time and that now I'm stuck in this lifestyle and I have to travel, and I don't. If it's too much, I go back to the Netherlands, I get an apartment there and I live there, close to friends and family. But so far, that hasn't happened yet, or I don't want to yet. So prepare for feeling lonely. Understand that that is part of any lifestyle that you choose, especially one where you do have to do and organize and manage things on your own quite a lot. So just be aware of that so that you're not surprised or disappointed or panicking when you do feel a bit lonely. It's part of it. I think it's part of any lifestyle, especially if you're single and doing it all on your own. But it's normal and it's nothing to worry about. And I think it's very, very manageable. Then the second part is money. For me, the past 2.5 years have been both really good and really bad. And I think that is something that any digital nomad can probably relate to in one way or another. Of course, even if you're in a cheap country like I am right now, like the Philippines is cheap, of course, everything is compared to what I'm used to back in the Netherlands. So for me, when I say cheap, I mean for me personally, for someone from the Netherlands. Southeast Asia, especially Philippines or Thailand, is cheaper. But that doesn't mean that I don't need an income. I do want to save and build up something. And for that, you need an income, you need money, you need work. And that can be a challenge. Because again, you're working remote, or at least I am working remote, but also freelance. So I work for myself. And making money is not always that stable as a freelancer. There have been months where I made great money and I could easily afford to live and fly and do whatever I wanted. But then there have also been months where I didn't make that much money. And I will say that traveling, although I absolutely love it, and I do believe that you can travel very cheaply, becomes a lot less enjoyable and a lot less fun if you know that you can't really afford it, or if you're on such a tight budget that you can't really enjoy it as much, do the things that you want to do or live in a certain lifestyle that you're used to. It does become stressful, especially because it's not that easy then to find a way out. Like you're already, you're already abroad, you're in a different country by yourself. Um, so that's why I would never recommend anyone to go and travel if they don't have some savings. Um, but yeah, that is tricky or can be tricky, but you just have to make sure that you've got it set up correctly, that you have some savings, that you have a recurring kind of monthly revenue stream coming in, and that you're set. But don't underestimate that, because yes, even traveling in a cheap country gets expensive. Okay, I know. I've been in Thailand now a week. I've definitely already spent a lot more money than I was planning to. The next one is the freedom itself. I think this kind of combines the whole work and travel, because the freedom that you get in this lifestyle is amazing. I mean, I spent my morning working, then at 2 p.m. I got my nails done, then I came back around 3 or 4, had very late lunch, worked some more, and then tonight I'm gonna go watch some paddle. Tomorrow again, just work, but it's all up to me. And that freedom, I absolutely love it, but it can be a little bit hard to then find routine, and you also need to make sure that you can self-motivate to get work done, otherwise, because no one's gonna come and tell you to work, so you're gonna have to do that yourself, which can be tricky. But yeah, I think if you're okay managing your own time and you can deal with having all that freedom and still be disciplined and get certain things done and do your work, you're going to be completely fine. And I think the freedom is the best part of this lifestyle. To be able to go and do whatever you want, wherever you want to do it, is something that makes, I feel, everything worth it. The next part, dating and relationships. If you've listened to more of my podcast, I don't think I shared much about this on social media, but on my podcast I definitely have a couple times. I even have a whole episode on dating and traveling. That is rough. Okay, I will give you that. I think friendships easy to make, harder to keep, but still very possible, because even if you don't speak every day, you can still meet up somewhere after a while, or you see someone again in a different country, and it's amazing. Plus, there's so many ways to keep in touch. Dating, on the other hand, is a lot harder, as I have personally experienced a couple times now. Sometimes you meet someone and you get on, but if your lifestyle is different, if your plans are different, it's very hard to seriously date. It is nice to go on dates and meet people, but it's very hard, I think, in general, to find someone that you connect with, that has the same goals, the same values, the same lifestyle. And I feel like as a digital nomad, it's even harder. Although on the other hand, you could say that it might even be easier because you're so flexible, you can just go and fly anywhere. But even that, not everyone is a fan of that. So it is hard to date. Sometimes you meet someone and the next week already one of you flies somewhere else, or you just have different plans, or you can't really align them, or different ideas of what you want to do in the future. In general, dating sucks, and traveling around on your own a lot does not make it any easier, but it's not impossible. I have met many digital nomads who've met their partners while traveling or on an event or whatever. I mean, I met one of my exes while I was traveling in Spain. So, I mean, that didn't work out, obviously, but you never know where you're going to meet someone. And I think maybe that's the flip side of the digital nomad life. I do meet a lot of people. Like, I try and go to events at least once or twice a week. So I meet a lot of people there. And then, of course, I play paddle. I travel around. I go on trips. I meet a lot of people. So at least my dating pool, I would say, is big. It's not like I'm stuck in a small village, but it's still not any easier. It just isn't. I unfortunately don't have any encouraging or good words for you there. Um, then finally, what I do want to say is that now after 2.5 years, so many people ask me if I'm not bored of it yet, if I don't want to just live in one place, if I'm not ready to settle down, and I don't really see the point right now. Maybe at some point that feeling will come and I'll be like, oh, I really want to be in one place for a longer time. And that might happen this year, that might happen in 5 years, 10 years, I don't know. I feel like what this lifestyle really gives you is so much freedom, control over your life, over who you hang out with, where you hang out, what you do. Like, for example, I didn't really like my lifestyle in the past month so much. I wasn't eating very well. I was not working out as much. I played paddle here and there, but I wasn't working out much. And that's another reason why I wanted to go back to Bangkok, because I knew eating healthy and working out in Bangkok is a whole lot easier than in some beach town somewhere where I can't easily find healthy food or cook myself or play sports. So you can kind of pick the lifestyle that you want, and based on that, go to a country or city that fits that. And I think that that is an amazing advantage of the digital nomad life. And of course, again, the freedom that you get. But don't underestimate my day-to-day. It is very basic and very boring. I work, I play sports, I see some friends, and that's it. Very normal, very basic. If I would ask anyone who lives in one place somewhere, oh, what does your day-to-day look like? Ours would be very similar. Only they do it in, the country or city they live in. And I do it in Thailand this month and maybe in China next month. And then after that, maybe in the Philippines again. But my day-to-day in general is not that interesting. I think what makes it interesting is that whereas one person would spend their whole weekend maybe just drinking in the local pub, or I don't know, going to the next town, I would go and fly somewhere, or I could go to a touristy thing and visit something special. And I just have more possibility, I think, to see some things in the world and to have more unique and fun experiences. But I only do those every couple weeks. I don't know, it depends really on where I am. But this lifestyle, I think in general, it's just amazing. And you get to experience so much, do so much, meet a lot of people, make a lot of really great memories. But then generally day to day, it is very straightforward. I work out, I go out for some food, and that's it. But then also this weekend, I might go to a really nice island somewhere here in Thailand. So it just really depends on what you want. If you want to have that freedom, make amazing memories, see the world, meet great people, digital nomad life is for you. If you want stability, this is not it. That's the only thing I think that is, of course, tricky, is stability. And that's in regards to everything. But yeah, I still love it. So I don't plan on settling down anytime soon. I mean, you never know. But for now, I'm still really enjoying it. Now I'm going to go meet a friend at padel and then maybe go out for some food. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know if you have any specific questions about how I manage certain things or what it looks like or what I do, because I know people have a lot of questions. And I love to see your comments either on whatever it is that you're listening, really, if it's Spotify or YouTube or Apple, I don't know. Or on my social media. Send me a DM. Let me know what you think, what your questions are. And then I really hope to see you again next week. I'm going to make sure to record again next week, maybe this time on time. But yeah, thank you so much again for listening. I hope you have a really great day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.